we bring the knowledge and the wisdom of your creation, the original intention of existence itself and evolution and the truth of all of these things back to you. It's been hidden for over 50,000 years strategically from you to keep you really to keep you malleable and pliable so that you could be manipulated. So there's this part in you that resists trusting yourself because you've been taught to trust facts and information from books. You've been taught to trust facts and information from someone standing at the head of the class, from anybody who's in a position of power. The strategy for war is not to arm your people, it's to disarm them. It's to take away their connection, their knowledge, their awareness of everything in existence that lets them know who they are. We've strategized and we've been taught to create these things called boundaries. And boundaries are exactly what war feeds on. It loves them. Why? Because inside of your boundaries is all your hate and your anger and your resentment. You haven't dealt with it, but you're carrying it around. Energetically, you have placed it in front of you like a wall. If you imagine brick by brick by brick, you've placed it every time that person or that dynamic, that situation has done something to you. Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers. Today is part 43 of the story of creation. And I just want to share a little bit of what the intention behind the story of creation actually is. In December, the creator, who I've partnered with on a number of projects over the last 20 years, came to me and asked if I would share the story of creation from his perspective, as well as all of the universal beings' perspective. And what, what his intention is that we bring the knowledge and the wisdom of your creation, the original intention of existence itself and evolution and the truth of all of these things back to you. It's been hidden for over 50,000 years strategically from you to keep you malleable and pliable so that you could be manipulated, right? But you can't be manipulated when you know who you are. That's why they've hidden it. But it's also why the creator asked me to participate and partner with him and these universal beings to bring this wisdom, this information, this knowledge back to you. So you have access to the information you were always meant to have access to. And this is really important. This is why I encourage you to feel the energy of the words that are being shared. It's great. I love that you're listening. I love that you're here and you're showing up. But I'm going to encourage you as much as possible to feel it, because when you feel energy and you feel the vibration of it, you will instantly feel truth. Okay? And it changes you. It allows you to become a different person in a split second. That's the power of truth. It is genuine freedom from any non-truth in existence. It's why anxiety and depression can literally end in seconds, because that's the power of truth. Okay? And the goal is to share as much information with you as possible. Some of the topics that we talk about, some of the dynamics that we are challenging and we are sharing, they're challenging to accept. I know that. I've been doing this for 20 years with these guys, and there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of concepts that challenge my belief system. But when I feel the energy, You can feel the purity. There is no manipulation in what they're sharing. In fact, it's completely free of manipulation, which lets me know it 100% is truth. Okay? So the goal in sharing this information is, yes, to give it to you, yes, to restore it so that you have the awareness of who you are. But more than anything, it's about helping you restore your ability to access your natural power, your power of having that. You have direct access yourself, just like I do. We all have it. You've just forgotten how to use it. And so the more you exercise that muscle, right, the more you feel your way through this series, right? We're on part 43 already. I know we're going to be going to at least part 200, if not further. It will depend on the internet and how long the internet lasts and supports this side of this work. But ultimately, I'm here. I'm ready and I'm showing up because I believe in you. But I also believe in a world where humans exist on a level that we were created to, free of trauma, free of suffering, where our challenges are defining our ability to reach our potential. Our challenges are not defining fear and anxiety. Okay. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in and watching. So let's see what the universal beings have to share with us today. So they're actually, we're going to be talking with the first stream of angelics. So these angelics are the definition of matter, and there is a group of them whose job, oh boy, okay. So we've got the first stream and we've got some second stream. So lots of angelics today, and they these are some of them are masters in strategy, if you will. Okay. And what they want to talk to us today about is war strategy. And I'm just making a note because my brain is going to shut off in a minute and I'm not going to remember anything that I'm talking about. I remember the energy, but the specific words go because I have to turn my brain off to go deeper and deeper in. So ultimately, what they're sharing. So the creator is here and he's saying the intention for this particular episode and this part of the story of creation is to help you better understand how humanity was manipulated, because this is probably the number one question that people have is, how did we get here? How did it get this bad? Why am I suffering? Okay. It's really and truly about exploration on the bigger picture. And this is what the creator is sharing. And so now the angelics are coming in and they're going to give us more of the finite details. Okay. So ultimately, we have, so strategy is like, some of you may remember this and some of you may not, but when I was in school, we didn't have computers yet. We had overhead projectors. And so an overhead projector was this big machine and it had a light that would shine through and then it would reflect it back to the wall. But in order to get the information, to reflect the information on the wall so we could all see it, right, was this sheet of clear plastic. And on that sheet would be information. Okay. I think I've also seen this with blueprints where you have a sheet and then there's thinner sheets that go on top. So you can still see the layers between as you bring down each new layer. Okay. There's more information on it and more. So it's like the bigger picture is being revealed. Okay. And so that's what they're saying this war strategy has been. So as much as we haven't wanted to see certain parts of what's actually been going on over the past 50,000 years because we've been strategically, it's been hidden from us, okay? But what's happening is as each layer of manipulation is placed on us, okay, another sheet comes down and another sheet comes down. So basically, what that means and what they're showing me is it's coming over your brain, okay? So each layer changes how you see the world, right? If it's a blueprint, you're seeing the world as one way, and then another layer comes down and you see it different. It's like, oh, we've added this and we've taken this out and we've done this. And then another layer comes down and there's more dynamics added in. And so this is how humanity got so easily manipulated. And I'm using that word easily, even though it's taken, 50,000 years to get to this place. It was layer upon layer upon layer. So it was a very simple process with very simple tactics. Okay. And this is where, this is where humanity is greatly challenged, because we believe if something is this big and this nefarious and is causing this much harm and trauma and suffering for so many, it must be really complicated. It must be very, there must be a lot of power behind it. And what they're saying is, it was actually really simple. And I know that, like that kind of in my gut, I feel like a little drop in it, because there's a sadness. There's a sadness that we are so easily manipulated. But here's the thing. When you're able to be impacted by someone else, it's because you trust and you have faith. And it's not that you misplaced your trust and your faith. It's that you allowed your trust in someone else to be greater than your trust in you. And this is where the shift is happening, right? This is exactly what's going on in human existence right now. We are shifting our focus away from trusting others with ourselves, with our life, with our dreams, with our goals, with the things that are most important and valuable to us. We're shifting that back to us. And it doesn't mean you don't trust anyone else, because that's not what this is about. It's about understanding that when you embody trust in yourself, you recognize others who are then trustworthy. So we were strategically taught, right, through the education system specifically, right, that, and here's the important part, it's not just you going to school that taught you this, right? It's generations and generations and generations of education beliefs put on you and your family, right? So it's now a generational belief that when you go through anything, you're going to carry them. So there's this part in you that resists trusting yourself because you've been taught to trust facts and information from books. You've been taught to trust facts and information from someone standing at the head of the class, from the oldest person in your family, from anybody who's in a position of power. And the reality is, that's not how humans were created, okay? Every human has their own direct line to the soul of the universe itself, to consciousness in every aspect of existence that has ever occurred, but also to any aspect of existence that you would like to bring into creation. That's why they made sure you don't remember that you have a connection, because you would have everything. You would know who you are, and you would know who they are. The dynamic right now that is shifting, and it is the hardest and most challenging transition that humanity has ever had to go through. That is why people are feeling so disconnected. It's why we're feeling lost and overwhelmed, right? We keep talking about this because this is the year for that. But it's understanding and recognizing that universal awareness is it's your birthright, but it's your lifeline, okay? As a soul, everything in existence is at your fingertips so that you know everything that anyone else has ever done and anything that has ever occurred, because it would be a waste of time to recreate it. And the universe doesn't waste time. It doesn't do anything. The physical world wastes our time all the time. It tells us to repeat the same cycles every single day to make sure that we stay in that cycle of frustration, annoyance, fear, anger. Why? Because when you're focused on those things, you cannot feel energy. You cannot feel the connection to yourself and to the universe. So you can't get the information that you need. This is the foundation and the strategy of war every single time. If you can, the words they're saying is, they're showing me a human standing in a field, stripped bare. And what that means, what that stripped bare is, it has nothing to do with their physical clothing and how they look. It's that they don't know who they are. They don't know what they're meant to be doing. They have zero connection to themselves, zero connection to the universe. They're standing, waiting to be taught and told what to do. That's a human stripped bare. And humanity was never, ever meant to be that way. You were never, ever meant to be that way. It's hard. And I rarely use that word. I always use the word challenge. But in this case, it's hard to feel and see a world rather, where everyone knows who they are. They understand why they exist, and they know what they're meant to be doing with their life. I believe it. I believe it's possible. And that's what we're building. And the only way to bridge that gap from that place of, it's almost hopelessness, right? I'm doing the same thing, but I don't feel rewarded. I don't feel full, and there's certainly no fulfillment. And so what they're sharing is the strategy for war is not to arm your people, it's to disarm them. It's to take away their connection, their knowledge, their awareness of everything in existence that lets them know who they are. And that's why we're doing the story of creation, to give it back to you. Because when you know who you are, you defy odds every single day. Because those odds were only created on the human physical side of existence. There's no such thing as odds in the universal realm. Because everything you do, you learn from. You experience at the soul level and the universal level. So you are not only creating a wisdom and awareness in your own space, you're contributing to consciousness itself. And that is what our souls crave. That's why we challenge questions, we challenge how we feel. That's why you feel overwhelmed when there's so much darkness around you, because that darkness is a reflection of the disconnection. That's how they're able to tell people what to do. Because self-governance, right? Humans are self-governing. We were created to be self-governing. Self-governance is aligned with the foundation and the origins of existence itself. So it's with the original intention of existence, but it also carries wisdom of every aspect of existence in the billions and trillions of years that not only has life existed, but humans have existed. That's all yours, all of it, right? There's nothing in a textbook that can tell you who you are and how you feel. Nothing. There's no one who can tell you who you are and how you feel. But there is energy, which is the frequencies and the vibrations of your soul and universal beings. It's you. Your soul is not separate, right? Your soul is inside of you. It never leaves you. But when you choose to build walls, right? When you choose to put boundaries up, what you're really doing is saying, I don't want to feel. And that's what they want. The manipulators, those who choose to create wars, right? The intention of war is to, the way they're saying it is to control and manipulate a population. So a population could be anywhere from 2 or 3 humans to mass numbers. Right now, this particular movement is global. But that being said, we have wars in our communities, in our homes, in our families, in our education system, in our medical system, right? There's wars everywhere. But it's understanding that any war is about creating mass manipulation. What does mass manipulation really, really mean? It means covering up the truth. It means hiding the truth at all costs so that whomever it is choosing to participate in that level, they can continue with their agenda. Okay? And the creator is at this point sharing, it's time for the original agenda to be restored, right? That's what we're doing. But it means that humans have to come together. It means that humans, before anything else, need to trust themselves. And it's a huge challenge because we've forgotten how to trust. We've forgotten how to believe in ourselves and trust our instincts. Because right now, your trust is mixed up. It's convoluted. It's impacted and influenced by your traumas. And your traumas are anything that you've personally experienced, you've heard about someone else experience, you've read about, you've seen in movies and music, all of the things. That's why they created that entertainment industry, to influence more, to ensure that you don't trust anything or anyone. Why? Because if you don't trust, you can't get your access and your information from yourself and your soul and the universe back. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Excuse me. So your first line of business, so to speak, is to understand that trust is not one of the 9 original universal energies. It came later. The universe, or the creator, created it in the universe a number of years ago. So this is tens of thousands of years ago, when he recognized that humanity was going to need an aid, if you will, help, to restore ourselves to full awareness and full knowledge. If you want more information about trust, you can grab yourself a copy of Believe. The information about trust is in there. But trust was strategically created so you could come back to yourself, back online, if you will, right? Because if you imagine, like, that's kind of how I feel it and how I feel the energy when I have a visual of it. When I'm communicating with my soul, when I'm communicating with the universe, when I'm communicating with any other universal being, it's visually, I will see it as a line of energy. Now, that being said, when the communication comes through, it just is. There is no line or that kind of thing. But when I'm talking about it as a concept, it's lines of conscious awareness where we have access, right? It's like an umbilical cord almost that goes from your soul, which is inside of you, it's not outside of you. So it's a consciousness from your soul that then reaches out to different aspects of consciousness itself. So it's like an umbilical cord. And you're not getting food through it, you're getting everything you're meant to experience as a soul. So you're getting self-healing because your body, your soul, you're self-healing, self-governance. So every bit of knowledge, information, awareness is coming through that line. It's coming through that stream. It's all available to you unless you turn it off. It's like a tap. If you turn it off, you can't get it. And how do we turn it off? By building boundaries. We've talked about this before. That is why boundaries are so detrimental to you. Boundaries stop your brain from learning and stop your brain really from feeling, because that's why you set a boundary, because you don't want to feel that discomfort, that pain, whatever it is that you've perceived that other person is doing to you. Instead of having the awareness of the dynamics that are going on and choosing to create change in your life that has nothing to do with them. They're just the catalyst to show you that that dynamic of your life has to change for you to restore faith in yourself, to restore truth and love and compassion and respect and all the other 9 fundamentals. But we don't. We've strategized and we've been taught to create these things called boundaries. And boundaries are exactly what war feeds on. It loves them. Why? Because inside of your boundaries is all your hate and your anger and your resentment. You haven't dealt with it, but you're carrying it around. Energetically, you have placed it in front of you like a wall. If you imagine brick by brick by brick, you've placed it. Every time that person or that dynamic, that situation has done something to you, that's how you visualize it. And that's how you perceive it. You put another brick in place to the point where you get so resentful that you've now created an entire wall and they can't get through. But guess what? You can't get out. You can't see truth. You can't feel your own existence because you have blocked yourself from doing it. This is how war happens. By taking away truth. So your goal right now is not about looking for what everyone else is doing wrong, okay? We've talked in the last few episodes about different intentions and how we've come to this place that we are and certain beings that have participated here. But that's not how you overcome war. How you overcome war is first understanding who you are, why you exist, who you're meant to be, and then understanding the same dynamics of your opponents, which is exactly why they shared what they've shared in the last 3-4 episodes, really since part 1 of this. Now it's understanding that to fight a war, you do not fight against it. You are choosing to shift your focus away from the anger and resentment and all of the fears that you have decided this person or group of people can bring to your life. Shift away from it. Change your focus to absolutely saying, I'm going to focus on truth. I'm going to focus on compassion, right? Compassion is no pity. It doesn't feel sorry for anyone. Compassion is recognition and understanding of where you are and not needing you to be anyone or anywhere other than you are. And it means that you do the same for everyone else. You hold that same awareness, that same intention. Again, these are all, compassion is in here. All of the information you need for your own existence is It's in the pages of believe. And that's designed to remind you that it's inside of you. All of that awareness of your soul. So as you start to rebuild trust, it's looking at your anger, your resentment, your hate, your frustration, at anyone or anything that you are challenged with right now. It is looking at it through the eyes of your soul instead of the eyes of your traumas and your fears. Because that's where the truth is. It's in there, the wisdom of your soul that will set you free, right? That's freedom. The other side, because you have to allow yourself to get the truth. And the truth is, if you're carrying anger and resentment towards other people or organizations, situations, doesn't matter. That's you carrying a dynamic that is causing you more pain and suffering. That's why they've trained us to do this. And all you have to do is shift to allow yourself to focus on what it is you want to experience in that space in your life. It's important here to not focus on the opposite of what you don't want. Okay? If you don't yet know what you want, that's fine. Then you say, what is the best potential and possibility for me in this area of my life? Ask, and the universe will show you, people will show up. And if you're open, you're going to experience your own greatness. But you can't experience anything from behind this wall of anger and fear and guilt and shame and all the fun things. Okay? That's how the wars keep going. It's literally, it's not just one ego against another, okay? And it's not just, one person or one organization trying to control other people and other organizations. It's that they're teaching you to use your own fear to help them get what they want. That's how this works. So remember, anger is fear. So if you're angry at someone, you're actually terrified. Because to get that angry, right, means there's terror inside of you, that you've decided that this person could do something to you, should they choose to, and you're focusing all of your energy on blocking them out, which means you're giving every single bit of your energy to them. If you look at your energy as currency, which is exactly what I do, because our energy is our currency with the universe, and wherever you're spending it is exactly what you're going to get a return on. That's your investment. That's your investment in yourself and your life. And that's the energy that's coming back to you. So if your investment is in being angry or resentful or jealous or judgmental of anyone else and what they're doing, that is exactly what you're going to be getting back in your life. Okay? So it's time for you to start allowing yourself to learn how to trust you again. How do you do that? By giving an honest, like pure truth, honesty. Pure truth has zero judgment, guys. This is not about seeing what you're doing and then getting frustrated and annoyed with yourself and judging yourself and getting angry with yourself. That's useless. It's about being able to go, oh, so that's what I'm doing with my energy. Okay. So what do I actually want to create in this space of my life? Do not go from a negative. Do not go from the opposite of a negative. Go all the way into the experience that you actually want to create. Envision yourself in that dynamic, in that scenario, in that relationship, and feel the fullness of your soul. So this is not just happy and, smiling and it all feels like rainbows and sunshine. I want you to allow yourself to feel the depth of the connection with the other person. That's That's what makes humans whole. Our connection with other humans and their souls, our connection with the universe, our connection with the universal beings, our connection with, right? So nature is universal beings. All of the air and the water, all the senses, all of these aspects of creation are designed to flood you with an ability to gain insight, awareness, and knowledge in every second of your life through feeling the energy. Energy speaks more intricately, more divinely. It is the highest form of intelligence in existence. That is why I encourage you to feel every single time we do an episode. I don't want you to think here. I want you to turn your brain off and I want you to feel so you can actually reach the highest forms of existence in yourself, because then you become unstoppable. You become powerful, filled with the wisdom and the knowledge and the energy and the vibration of your soul. So now you can broadcast out like a satellite that energy to the universe to create anything you want. That becomes your currency. Truth and purity and joy, love, compassion, respect, they become your currency. And guess what? Your return on your investment is greater than anything you could possibly imagine. I'm going to leave you with that for now, and I will see you next time for the story of creation. Bye for now. I'm Michelle Vickers, and this is the Authentic Human Podcast.
The boundaries, and there is so many, like you're saying, that you set on yourself. I have so many boundaries. It's almost overwhelming to think about undoing them all, but that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what we'll do. But it's a lot, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you going to say?
Like you said, you got 60 plus years of manipulation to get rid of.
Yep.
I just hope that if I can pull the right brick out, everything else comes down. Just like that game with that kerplunk or whatever, we used to pull the sticks out. If you pull the right stick, then it's like a sweater. Then it all unravels.
Yes.
So somehow I just got to figure out which one to pull.
I love that. But I feel like that's actually in alignment with what the creator shared. I think it was part 39, where he was sharing, there's an event coming and you won't be able to come back from it. You won't be able to go back, because it is that. He's going to pull out that one brick, so to speak, and all the belief system that we've built on top of it is going to come crumbling down.
It was good. There was stuff going on in my head this morning, and it was very helpful.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. I'm going to send some love. Okay.
You do that.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to learn more, head on over to michellevickers.com. Join our mailing list to receive new episodes right to your inbox, or apply to be a guest on the show. If this episode made you think of someone while you were listening, forward the link onto that person with a little note about why it made you think of them, because the greatest gift you can give another human is to see the beauty and purity of who they truly are. Until next time, stay curious.